The spaceport was noisy and full of different creatures from many planets. Ships landed and took off, merchants shouted their goods, and travelers hurried past. But in one quiet corner, a small alien sat alone on the cold floor. His skin was green and wrinkled, his eyes glassy and tired. This was Vrel. He was drunk and lost, holding tightly to a small cage that contained 3 frightened beings. Vrel's breath smelled of strong space whiskey. He looked around, hoping someone would come close. One drink for them, he slurred. His voice was low and shaky. Take them. Just one drink. Many travelers passed by without a second glance. The cage wasn't large, but the creatures inside looked scared and weak. No one wanted to stop for a drunk alien offering strange captives for such a small price. But then, a human woman walked by. She had short dark hair, bright eyes, and wore the uniform of a starship captain. Her name was Mira Lawson. Mira stopped. She looked at the cage, then at Vrel. Something about the alien's sad and tired face caught her attention. She stepped closer. "What's this?" she asked calmly. Vrel blinked slowly. They are refugees, survivors. I don't want them anymore, just one drink. Please." Mira frowned. "Why are you selling them? Why only one drink?" Vrel's lips trembled. "I'm tired. I lost everything. They are a burden to me." His voice cracked with pain and shame. The creatures in the cage looked up at Mira with hopeful eyes. They were small and thin, with blue skin and large eyes. They whispered softly in their own language, scared but curious. Mira knelt beside the cage. "Where are you from?" she asked gently. One of the creatures, a young female, looked at Mira and spoke in broken galactic basic. "We come from Lantari. Our home is gone. War, fire, death." Mira's heart tightened. She had heard stories about the war on Lantari. Many innocent lives were lost, and survivors were scattered across space. She looked back at Vrel. "Why did you capture them?" Vrel looked away, ashamed. "I didn't want to, but I needed credits. I sold them to protect myself. Now I have nothing." Mira thought for a moment. She was a captain with a ship and resources. She could help these refugees, but if she took them, she would risk trouble. People like these were hunted by slavers and bounty hunters. Yet something inside her said she had to try. "Give me the cage," she said firmly. Vrel blinked, surprised. "You will take them? For one drink?" Mira smiled softly. "For more than a drink, for a chance." She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small flask. She poured a drink and handed it to Vrel. Vrel's eyes widened. You trust me?" Mira shrugged. "I trust the chance for hope." Vrel drank quickly and then handed over the cage. Mira stood, holding the cage carefully. She looked into the frightened eyes of the refugees and said, "You are safe now. I will take care of you." The crowd around them began to watch. Some whispered, "Why would a human help aliens no one wants?" Others shook their heads in disbelief. But Mira did not care. She turned and walked toward her ship, the Endeavor, with new passengers and a new mission. Inside the Endeavor, the refugees were quiet, but watching Mira with hope. She opened the cage door carefully. "Come on," she said softly. "You are free here." The creatures stepped out slowly, looking around the ship. It was clean and bright. Nothing like the dark, crowded cells they had known before. One of them, the young female from Lantari, smiled weakly. "Thank you," she said. "You give us hope." Mira smiled back. "We will find you a home." Later, Mira sat alone on the bridge, thinking about the day. She knew helping these refugees was only the beginning. The galaxy was dangerous and many would want to take them back. But she also knew something important. Hope was a powerful thing. It could change everything. In the quiet night of the spaceport, the drunk alien Vrel watched Mira's ship leave. He felt a strange warmth in his chest, a small hope he had not felt for a long time. The Endeavour left the noisy spaceport behind, its engines humming softly as it moved into the calm darkness of space. Captain Mira Lawson stood on the bridge watching the stars drift past. Around her, the small group of refugees from Lantari began to explore their new home. The refugees had never been on a spaceship like this before. Everything was clean, bright, and quiet, not like the crowded cages and dark cells they had known. They looked at the smooth walls, the glowing control panels, and the soft lights above with wide eyes. Mira watched them carefully. She knew their lives had been full of fear and pain. She wanted them to feel safe, even if only for a little while. One of the refugees, a young boy named Tiro, touched the railing nervously. "Is this real?" he asked Mira. "Are we free now?" Mira knelt beside him and smiled gently. "Yes, Tiro, you are free. No one can hurt you here." The other refugees gathered around. Their faces showed hope, but also fear. They did not know what the future held. For days, Mira helped them settle. She gave them food, water, and blankets. She asked them about their lives on Lantari and listened to their stories. "The war destroyed everything," said Nira the young, female who spoke Galactic Basic. "Our cities burned. Many died. We ran, but we had nowhere to go." Mira nodded. "I'm sorry you had to go through that. We will find a place for you to live, a real home." But finding a home was not easy. The galaxy was full of dangers. There were pirates, slavers, and cruel governments who did not want refugees. Mira knew they had to stay hidden until they could be safe. One day, while Mira was checking the ship's systems, Vrel appeared on the Endeavour. He looked better than before, sober and calmer. He held a small bag and approached Mira slowly. "I want to help," he said quietly. "I sold them for drink, but I want to fix what I did." Mira studied him for a moment. She could see the regret in his eyes. "Why should I trust you?" Vrel sighed. "Because I know the dangers. I know who is hunting them. I want to protect them. If you let me stay, I will do everything I can." Mira thought about it. The alien had been careless, but now he wanted to help. Maybe he could be useful. "All right," she said finally. "But if you betray them, you will answer to me." Vrel nodded eagerly. "Thank you, Captain." The refugees watched the meeting with curiosity. They were not sure if they could trust Vrel, but Mira's decision gave them hope. In the days that followed, Vrel worked hard. He used his knowledge of the spaceport's criminal networks to track bounty hunters and slavers. He helped Mira plan safe routes through space. Slowly, the Endeavour became a stronger shelter. One evening, as the stars twinkled outside the ship's windows, Mira gathered the refugees in the common room. "We are not just running from danger," she said. "We are building a future, a new home, but we will need courage and hope." The refugees listened quietly. For the first time, they felt a spark of something new, a chance to live, to dream again. Tiro, the young boy, raised his hand. "Captain, will we ever go back to Lantari?" Mira smiled sadly. "I don't know, but I promise, wherever we go, I will help you build a safe place, a home." Mira stepped forward. "Thank you, Captain. You are the first human to show us kindness." Mira shook her head. "Not just me. Humans are complicated, but many of us believe in helping others. We will face challenges, but together, we can overcome them." The refugees smiled, their eyes shining with new hope. But danger was never far away. One night, the ship's alarm sounded sharply. Mira rushed to the bridge. The screen showed a small, fast ship approaching. It was a bounty hunter's vessel. "Prepare for defense," Mira ordered. "We cannot let them take our people." Vrel stood beside her, ready. "I know their tactics," he said. "We have a chance." The bounty hunter ship fired warning shots, trying to scare the Endeavour, but Mira was calm. She piloted the ship skillfully, using the nearby asteroid field as cover. Vrel guided her through the dangerous rocks. After tense moments, the bounty hunter gave up and left. The Endeavor was safe, for now. The refugees cheered quietly. They saw courage and strength in their new protectors. Hope grew stronger. Mira looked at the stars again. "This is only the beginning," she whispered. "We will find a home." Vrel stood beside her. "And I will help you keep it safe." Together they prepared for the long journey ahead. A journey not just through space, but toward hope, safety, and a new life. Days passed on the Endeavor, and the small group of refugees began to grow stronger. They learned to trust Captain Mira and even Vrel, the alien who once sold them for a drink. But inside Vrel, a storm of feelings raged: guilt, shame, and regret. Every moment reminded him of his terrible mistake. One quiet evening, Mira found Vrel sitting alone in the ship's cargo bay. His head was low and his hands trembled as he stared at the floor. "Vrel," Mira said softly, stepping closer. "Are you all right?" Vrel looked up, his eyes filled with sorrow. "No, Captain, I am not." Mira sat beside him. "Tell me what's wrong." Vrel sighed deeply. "I was a fool. I sold those refugees because I was drunk and desperate. I thought it would be easy. Just one drink and I would be free. But now, I see what I did. I betrayed innocent lives." Mira listened carefully. "You regret it?" "Yes," Vrel whispered. "I carry their pain in my heart. I want to make it right." Mira nodded slowly. "You have a chance to do that. Help protect them. Help build a home for them." Vrel looked at her with hope. "I will do everything I can, I promise." The next morning, Vrel joined Mira on the bridge. He opened a large star map and pointed to a remote part of the galaxy. "There is a planet here," he said. "Far from danger, uninhabited. It could be a safe place for the refugees." Mira studied the map. The planet was small and quiet, with clean air and water. It was perfect, but it will not be easy, Vrel warned. Many dangers between here and there. Mira smiled with determination. "We will face them together." The refugees were told about the plan. Excitement and fear mixed in their eyes. They hoped for a home, but knew the journey would be hard. One of the older refugees, a wise man named Koro, spoke quietly. "We have lost much, but this chance is a gift. We must be strong." Mira agreed. "We are a family now. Together we will protect each other." The Endeavor began its journey to the new world. Vrel worked closely with Mira, using his knowledge of space dangers to guide them safely. He scanned the stars for threats and helped plan each move carefully. Despite the long days and tense moments, the refugees found small joys. They shared stories of their home, sang songs, and helped each other with daily tasks. Slowly, hope grew in their hearts. One evening, as the stars twinkled outside the ship's windows, Vrel stood near the refugees. A young girl named Lila approached him, her eyes curious. "Why did you sell us, Vrel?" she asked simply. Vrel's heart ached. "I was weak. I made a terrible mistake. I am sorry." Lila nodded. "But you help us now. That is what matters." Vrel smiled sadly. "Thank you, Lila. I will never let you down again." As the ship moved closer to the new planet, dangers increased. Pirates and slavers searched the space lanes looking for easy targets. One day, alarms blared loudly. "Pirate ships approaching!" the crew shouted. Mira took the captain's chair. "Prepare for battle," she commanded. Vrel stood beside her, calm and focused. "I know their tactics. Follow my lead." The Endeavor moved quickly, weaving through asteroid fields and hiding in the shadows of large space debris. Vrel guided Mira through secret paths. Only he knew. The pirates fired their weapons, but the Endeavor was fast and clever. After a tense chase, the pirates gave up and disappeared into the darkness. The refugees cheered quietly. They saw strength and courage in Mira and Vrel, Their protectors were willing to risk everything for them. That night, around a small table in the common room, Mira spoke with the refugees. "We are close to our new home," she said. "But the journey is not over. We must stay strong and united." Nira, the young female refugee, smiled. "With you, Captain, and Vrel, we feel safe." Vrel looked at the group. "I have done wrong, but I will spend the rest of my life making it right." Mira nodded. "We all make mistakes. What matters is what we do next." The refugees agreed. Hope filled the room like warm light. As the Endeavor approached the new planet, a feeling of peace settled over everyone. The long, hard journey was almost over. A new chapter was about to begin. Vrel looked out the window, watching the green and blue world grow larger. He whispered to himself, "This is my chance. To be better. To protect. To belong." Mira placed a hand on his shoulder. "We all belong here." Together they prepared to land. The hope they carried was stronger than any fear. The story of the refugees, the drunk alien, and the human captain was far from over, but for the first time, they could dream of home. The Endeavor moved closer to the new planet. Its blue and green surface shone brightly through the ship's windows. The refugees watched silently, feeling a mixture of hope and fear. This was their chance for a new life, but dangers still waited beyond the stars. Captain Mira stood on the bridge, eyes fixed on the planet. Beside her, Vrel was busy scanning the space around them. Despite his past mistakes, he had become an important part of their small group. Together, they worked to protect the refugees. Suddenly, the ship's alarm sounded sharply. A red light blinked on the control panel. "Captain, multiple ships detected approaching fast," the navigator said. Mira's jaw tightened. "Who are they?" "Pirates," Vrel answered quietly. "They must have tracked us. They want the refugees." Mira nodded. "Prepare for defense. We can't let them take our people." The refugees gathered in the safe room, fear clear on their faces. Mira and Vrel stood ready on the bridge. The Endeavor was smaller and less armed than the pirate ships, but they had something stronger, courage and a will to protect. As the enemy ships closed in, Vrel used his knowledge of pirate tactics. "We will use the asteroid belt near the planet. It will slow them down and give us cover." Mira adjusted the ship's course. The Endeavor flew carefully into the dense field of rocks and ice. The pirates followed, but their larger ships struggled to keep up. "Fire at will," one pirate shouted from his ship. Lasers flashed through space, lighting up the dark sky. The Endeavor shook as shots hit the hull. Mira's hands moved quickly over the controls, dodging and weaving between the asteroids. Vrel directed the ship through narrow passages. "Left, now right, hold steady." The pirates grew frustrated. Their ships bumped into asteroids or slowed, down to avoid crashes. One by one, they began to fall behind. "Keep going," Mira urged. "Almost there." The refugees listened from the safe room, their hearts pounding. Tiro held Mira's hand tightly, whispering, "We will be safe soon." After a tense chase, the last pirate ship gave up and turned away. The Endeavor escaped into the quiet space near the planet. Mira sighed with relief. "Good work, Vrel. You saved us." Vrel smiled faintly. "I will protect them with my life." That night, the refugees gathered in the common room. They shared food and stories, their fears slowly fading. Koro, the wise elder, raised his glass. "To our protectors, to hope and home." Everyone joined in the toast, feeling closer as a family. The next day, the Endeavor began its final approach. The planet was beautiful and full of promise. Mira scanned the surface carefully. "This place is perfect," she said. "Fresh water, good air, and plenty of space." Vrel nodded. "It will be a good home." But building a new home was not simple. The refugees had lost much. They needed shelter, food, and safety. Mira and Vrel worked together to plan the colony. They assigned tasks based on each person's skills. Some gathered materials, others built shelters, and some explored the land. Vrel learned to work with the refugees, earning their trust. He helped build walls and cleared the land. His hands, once shaky from guilt, grew strong with purpose. One afternoon, as the sun warmed the planet's surface, Mira walked with Nira and Tiro. "How do you feel?" Mira asked gently. Nira smiled. "Stronger every day. This place gives us hope." Tiro looked around with wide eyes. "I want to learn everything. To help." Mira nodded. "You will. This is your home now." But danger was never far away. Scouts on the planet spotted a small group of strange figures approaching the colony. Mira called the settlers together. "We must prepare. They may be traitors or threats." Vrel studied the approaching group carefully. "I think they are bounty hunters. They follow us." The refugees grew tense. Fear returned, but this time, they stood together. Mira spoke firmly. "We will defend our home. Together." That night, they built watchtowers and set alarms. Everyone learned how to protect themselves. Vrel taught the settlers how to stay alert and work as a team. When the bounty hunters arrived, they were surprised to find a ready and united community. The settlers stood firm, their courage shining brighter than any weapon. After a short standoff, the bounty hunters realized they could not win. They retreated, leaving the colony in peace. The refugees cheered. They had found not just a home, but a family. Mira looked at Vrel. "We did this together." Vrel smiled warmly. "Together we are strong." The colony grew day by day. People laughed, worked, and dreamed. The scars of the past slowly healed in the light of hope. Vrel often stood outside, watching the stars. He remembered the night. He sold the refugees for a drink, the mistake that had almost destroyed everything. Now he knew he had a chance to make things right. He was no longer the drunk alien who had given up. He was a protector, a friend, and part of something greater. Mira joined him one evening. "You have changed, Vrel." He looked at her with gratitude. "Because of you. Because of them." Mira smiled. "We all have the power to change." The colony on that quiet planet became a symbol, proof that even in the darkest times hope and courage could create a new beginning. And so, the story of the drunk alien who sold refugees for a drink and the human who gave them hope and a home continued to grow, stronger with every day. The sun rose gently over the small colony on the new planet. The air was fresh and clean, and soft green plants swayed in the gentle breeze. The refugees from Lantari were busy working. For the first time in a long while, they felt hope growing in their hearts. Captain Mira walked through the colony, watching people build shelters from wood and stone, plant gardens and repair tools. Children ran and laughed, chasing each other among the new homes. The sounds of life filled the air, a sharp contrast to the silence of fear they had known before. Vrel worked alongside the settlers. His green skin was covered in dirt and sweat, but his eyes shone with pride. He carried heavy beams, helped build fences, and fixed broken machines. His past mistakes felt far away now, replaced by a strong desire to protect these people. Mira called the community together for a meeting in the central square. Everyone gathered around, eager to hear her words. "We have come a long way," she said, "but this is just the beginning. We must build not only shelters, but a true home, a place where everyone feels safe and valued." Nira, the young woman who spoke Galactic Basic well, stepped forward. "We can share our knowledge. On Lantari, we grew special plants that helped heal wounds. We can teach you." Mira smiled. "That is wonderful. Sharing is how we grow stronger." Tiro, the young boy, looked up at Mira. "I want to help too. I want to learn how to protect our home." "You will," Mira promised, "and we will all learn together." The settlers divided into groups to take care of different tasks. Some cleared fields for farming, others gathered stones for building walls, and some repaired the Endeavor to keep their connection to the stars. Vrel worked with a group to build a watchtower near the edge of the colony. "We must be ready," he told them. "Danger may still come, but we will face it as one." One evening, As the settlers gathered around a fire, Koro, the wise elder, told stories from their old world. His voice was calm and full of hope. "We have lost much," you said, "but we have not lost our spirit. Together we will create a new home that is stronger and kinder." Mira listened and felt proud. This small group, once broken and afraid, was becoming a family. But building a new life was not without challenges. One morning, a heavy storm swept over the colony. Strong winds bent the young trees, and rain flooded some of the fields. Mira hurried outside, helping to secure the shelters and protect the crops. Vrel stood beside her, lifting fallen beams and clearing debris. "We must be ready for anything," Mira said, her voice steady. "This world will test us." The settlers worked together through the storm, their teamwork stronger than the weather. When the sky cleared, the sun returned, shining brighter than before. After the storm, the colony looked different but stronger. New paths had been cleared, and damaged homes were repaired quickly. The refugees learned that building a home meant more than just walls and food. It meant caring for each other through hard times. As weeks passed, the colony grew. Gardens bloomed with colorful flowers and fresh vegetables. Children played happily, learning and exploring. The community held celebrations, sharing food and stories under the stars. One evening, Mira stood on a small hill, looking at the lights of the colony below. Vrel joined her quietly. "It is beautiful," he said. Mira nodded. "It is more than that. It is hope made real." Vrel smiled softly. "I never thought I would be part of something like this." "You saved them," Mira said gently. "You helped give them a future." Vrel looked away, humbled. "I want to keep doing that." Mira placed a hand on his shoulder. "We will face the future together." The colony was becoming more than just a refuge. It was a home built on trust, courage, and kindness. The settlers, once lost and afraid, were now builders and protectors. But Mira knew their peace could not last forever. The galaxy was wide and full of unknown dangers. Yet here, on this small planet, hope shone brighter than any star. Together they would build a future where all could live in safety and freedom. The colony had grown stronger with each passing day. Green fields stretched across the land, and the settlers built schools, homes, and places to gather. Children played freely, their laughter echoing under the clear blue sky. The refugees from Lantari, once lost and broken, now had a home filled with hope. Captain Mira stood on the highest hill, looking out over the community. Beside her, Vrel stood quietly, his eyes soft but strong. The alien who had once sold the refugees for a drink had become their protector and friend. "Look at what we have built," Mira said softly. Vrel nodded. "It is more than I ever dreamed." The settlers gathered below, busy with their daily lives. The hard work was not over, but the future looked bright. They had faced danger, fear, and loss, but they had never given up. One afternoon, a message arrived from a nearby star system. It was from a group of humans and aliens who had heard of the colony's courage and kindness. They wanted to help, to join in building a peaceful community. Mira smiled as she read the message. "We are not alone," she said. Vrel placed a hand on her shoulder. "Together, we can grow stronger." The new friends arrived over the next weeks. They brought supplies, tools, and new ideas. The colony welcomed them warmly. With each new person, the home grew more alive. But the greatest gift was the hope that spread like wildfire. The refugees shared their stories and dreams, inspiring others to believe in kindness and courage. One evening, the settlers held a celebration under the stars. Fires burned bright, and music filled the air. Mira spoke to the crowd, her voice clear and full of warmth. "We began as strangers, lost and afraid, but we found each other. We built not just homes, but a family. This is the true strength of humanity, and all who stand with us." Vrel stepped forward, his voice steady. "I once made a terrible mistake. I sold these brave souls for a drink, but they showed me the meaning of hope and forgiveness. I am proud to stand with them now." The crowd cheered, their hearts full. As the night deepened, Mira and Vrel stood side by side, looking up at the stars. They knew their journey was far from over, but they were ready. "Hope is our legacy," Mira said. Vrel smiled. "And it will light the way for those who come after us." The colony on this quiet planet became a beacon in the galaxy, a place where kindness, courage, and hope could grow. Together, humans and aliens built a future that no one could take away, a future where every life mattered, and every soul had a home. Life in the colony had grown peaceful and strong. The settlers worked together, their small homes standing firm against the wind and rain. Gardens blossomed with fruits and vegetables. Children laughed as they ran through the fields, their voices carrying in the warm sunlight. Captain Mira looked out over the land from a hilltop, proud of what they had built. But peace was never easy in the galaxy. News reached them that powerful factions in nearby star systems had learned of their new home. These groups wanted the colony's land and resources for themselves. They saw the refugees not as people, but as obstacles to be removed. One afternoon, a ship appeared in the sky above the colony. It was large and sleek, unlike anything the settlers had seen before. The ship hovered silently, sending a clear message. They had come to claim the planet. Mira stood with Vrel and the elders, watching the ship's shadow fall over their homes. "We cannot let them take what we have built," Mira said firmly. Vrel nodded. "We will defend our home, together." The settlers prepared for the coming challenge. They built barricades and watchtowers. Mira trained them in using simple but effective weapons. Vrel taught the settlers how to work as a team, to move quickly and protect each other. The day the faction's forces landed, the colony was ready. Large vehicles rolled across the fields and armed soldiers stepped out, confident they would take the planet without a fight. But the settlers stood firm, their faces steady with courage. Mira raised her hand. "We are not just refugees, we are a community, and this is our home." The battle was hard. The settlers were fewer and less equipped, but they knew the land. They used the forests and hills to their advantage. Vrel led small groups to surprise the invaders, cutting off their supplies and confusing them. The settlers worked as one. They protected their families and homes with a fierce determination no enemy had expected. At one point, a group of soldiers cornered Mira. She stood her ground, refusing to give up. Vrel arrived just in time, helping her escape into the trees. "Your courage inspires us all," Vrel said quietly. After days of fighting, the invaders began to retreat. The settlers had won, not because of weapons or numbers, but because of their spirit and unity. That night, the colony gathered again. They lit fires and sang songs of victory and hope. Koro spoke to the crowd. "This battle showed us something important. It is not just strength that protects us, but the heart, the will to stand for what is right." Mira smiled. "We will face more challenges, but we will face them together." The refugees had come from darkness and despair. Now they stood as a strong and hopeful family, ready to build a future no one could take away. Vrel looked at the stars, thinking about how far they had come. From a desperate alien who sold them for a drink to a protector who fought beside them, his journey was one of redemption and courage. Mira placed a hand on his shoulder. "We are more than survivors. We are builders of a new world." Together, they watched the stars shine brightly above their home. The future was uncertain, but their hope was stronger than any fear.